Hi guys, and welcome to this session on Introduction to Business Analytics, its scope and its future by Intellipaat. So as you would all know, business analytics is one of the most hottest trending topics in all of the organizations right now. Almost all of the big organizations which are out there have a dedicated business analytics team who looks into various different kinds of problems and finds its solutions. So today we have decided to come up with this session to get you more familiarized with what is business analytics, its scope, its future, career paths, skills required, and all of that. But before we get into all of that, please subscribe to our channel to never miss an update from Intellipaat. Also guys, if you do find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Okay, so let's talk about today's agenda. In today's session, we'll be going to cover 5 different topics with respect to business analytics. We'll be starting off with a brief introduction on what is business analytics, and we will be discussing what are analytics and its types as well as the business analytics process. So all of that in the first subsection. Then we move on and talk about what is the business analytics scope. There we'll discuss what are the various ways business analytics are being used in the industry right now. So as you would all know, business analytics has high scope of implementation, and we discuss that in the second section. And once we have that in the bag, we'll talk about what are the career scopes in the business analytics section. So in there, we'll be talking about these salary and the company's hiring and all of that. That is the third section. And from there, we'll move on and talk about what are the skills required to land those jobs and those salaries that we talked about in the third section. And once we have all of that in the bag, we'll talk about the further learning section, how you can improve and learn more about business analytics and how you can get yourself certified. So that is about the agenda, guys. I hope that is very clear to you. So without wasting any further time, let's just begin with this session. Introduction to business analytics. So before we talk about what is business analytics, it is very important that we understand what is analytics on its own. So if you just think about it, what is analytics? Analytics is basically you taking some data, applying some statistical formulas, some models, and finding some kind of an insight, right? So that is what basically analytics means, and that is what it refers to in here. So analytics refers to the process of working with data to find out valuable insights which can lead to extremely useful solutions. How do you do that? So every organization which is out there, it takes a lot of information from all its customers and potential customers for that matter. They take all of the information about your name, your email address, where you live, and they try to find out some insights from that, right? So let's say if I'm Amazon, right? So I see what my customer is looking at. I look at the data of things that they are buying, the things they're looking to buy, and then I basically take those information from there. I take some certain insights from in there. So let's say if a customer is looking into buying some high-end mobile phone, right? And he's only looking at high-end mobile phones and he's almost there to buy it. So what I would do is I would want him to find more similar things which meets his interest, right? So I find those insights. I found out then insight, like this guy is currently looking at mobile phones. That's an insight. Now what kind of mobile phone he's looking towards, the high end or the medium end of the phones. Then I look at, let's say, which companies is he preferring to. Is he open to buying, let's say, some new product in the market, or is he going for the industry giants, like let's say Samsung or iPhone or something else? So if he's going for the industry giants, then I would try to suggest him good offers based on that. But if he's looking into, let's say, some more startups, like some new brands which are in the market, like let's say Redmi or something, then I can suggest him other information as well. So you find those insights and then you make use of that information, and you can use it to do some different kinds of action. Now this is an example of Amazon. You can do different things with respect to analytics as well. So there can be, let's say, if I run a supply chain, right? So supply chain is anything which starts from you getting the raw material, then you create a product, and then you store it in some inventory, then you ship it to your potential customer or the customer, and when it reaches your customer, it's the entire part is the supply chain, right? So let's take example of Big Basket, right? So if I'm Big Basket and I'm delivering products every day, and I found out that this setup which I have in this particular city, it is costing me more than what it usually does, right? So there is some flaw with respect to the business planning that I have, and there is some flaw with respect to the way that I have set up the entire supply chain that is costing me some issues. So what I would do is I will take all of the information which is there from all of these cities, and I'll find out what is this thing which basically influences the amount of money which I am spending in order to send a product to my customer. So I can see what can I do with respect to my inventory management and different things like that. So I can do business plannings also based on that. So gone is the era where the analytics were just used to solve problems. Now it can be used to predict problems as well. So if you have some, let's say, in some if I just look at the data, it's not necessary that you might have a problem. You can find different hidden problems in today's world as well using analytics. That is the basic idea behind analytics, that what you want to do is you want to plan out everything, you want to optimize everything that you already have running. So I have a profitable center, but I can probably make it more optimized, and that is the idea behind analytics, to find those insights which are not visible to the eye and make those improvements or find those decisions that will make those improvements. Now, because of that, the analytics has been basically divided into three different parts. So you can do three kinds of analytics in today's world. So first is descriptive analytics. So this is basically something which deals with the things which have happened in the past. So if I want to find out, let's say, what was my sales figure last year, or how much impact did Christmas have on my sales, or let's say during my festive season, how many trucks did I require to meet the requirements of the entire supply chain. If that is the scenario, then I would be going for descriptive analytics, where I am trying to find out the information with respect to the past year, whatever has happened. So that is descriptive analytics. Then the second one is the prescriptive analysis. Now, prescriptive analysis is the type of analytics where you basically are looking to find out what is the way that you go about solving a problem. So let's say I have a problem. There are basically different ways to solve one single problem, right? So you have one problem and you know that you can solve it through, let's say, 4 different methods. Now, what prescriptive analytics does is basically helps you find out what is the most optimal approach to solve the problem. So I have 4 different solutions, right? And all of the solutions come with different kind of investment which is required. So let's say one of the solutions could be like the fact that it could actually optimize me to a very next level, but that is very costly. And the other one is not that costly but gets me very close by. So based on what my actual requirement is, I can choose which course of action would actually meet my results. So finding out what are the possible solutions to your problem and the paths that you have to go through it and which one would be better is decided by prescriptive analytics. Then the third one is called as a predictive analysis. This is basically deals with what will happen in the future. So a very simple example would be, we talked about how data was in the past, right? So let's say if I'm launching a new product, if let's say I'm launching a new beverage which is similar to Coca-Cola, so I can basically make a prediction based on the past information that I have about all of the drinks that I have probably manufactured before. So based on that, I can predict, okay, this is the market segment and this is the market segment occupied by, let's say, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and these are the number of people who are willing to try new drinks. Now, if based on the data which I have collected through my proof of concepts, which every company does at some point of time, to find out if there is actually their product actually works and if there is actually a requirement for it. So if there is a market for it, what are the sales figures which I am looking at in the future? So how I'm going to put out my product and how it will look like in the future is basically decided by predictive analysis. So in this scenario, you predict what is going to happen in the future, and then let's say if the number of sales based on last year's, if I go ahead with the similar process, I implement, let's say, $5 million in sales, right? But if we make some tweaks here and there, right? If I do this strategic partnership with this one company which will optimize my supply chain, I can move that figure to, let's say, 6 million. So having that jump on that, okay, this decision will basically make me reach this particular goal. Predicting the future is what is achieved by the predictive analysis. Now let's come to the topic of the hour, which is business analytics. Business analytics is basically a combination of all of those three. Gone are the days where business analytics was just used for problem solving. It's not the case anymore. Business analytics are used in today's world to find out about market, to find out about what is the price point that you should have to be in the competitive market, how you should it could come down to even your HR personnel, so they can find out why your employees are leaving and how you can keep them, what is the things that you can do with respect to your supply chain to improve it, how you can do better inventory management. So it's no longer just problem solving. It's also about finding the hidden insights which are in there to optimize the current situation that you have, improve upon the mechanisms that you have, and you can have strategic planning for your future as well. So whenever a company works, it doesn't only plan towards the end. Till the end, it tries to plan everything out with plan A, plan B, and plan C. So business analytics is basically a discipline that involves identifying business requirements and providing solutions to meet those requirements. So it could be problem solving, it could be optimizing, it could be strategic planning, it could be policy development, it could be even software development for that matter. So it could be gaming, it could be anything. Business analytics is applicable in across all the fields which are out there, because every organization wants to make money, and in no organization in the world is perfect, right? Nobody is perfect, so there is always some scope of improvement, and that improvement is provided by business analytics. And that is the simple reason why each and every organization in the world is going for business analytics and has a dedicated team which does this work, who is into collecting data, cleaning data, working with data, finding out insights, looking at different perspective with respect to their business about how these things or these metrics impact their business. Finding all of that is the job of that business analytics team, right? So how do they do that? So there is a simple process defined for every company now. Since business analytics is such a huge part of every organization right now, they have made it a very organized setup so that everybody knows what is going on in each and every step, and so that we do not miss out any single step and make any mistakes, right? So they want to be spot on with all of their analytics, and that's why almost all of the organizations have their own set of principles and rules that they follow while doing business analytics. However, there is an overall picture which more or less remains the same for almost everybody, and that is what is called as business analytics process. Now, in business analytics process, what is going on is basically there are few simple steps which you can see on your screen. So first is framing the business problem, then you go about framing the analytics problem, then there is data, then there is modeling, and then there is deployment. Let me explain. So what goes on is basically, let's say if this is with respect to solving some problem with respect to my inventory. So what is going on is basically I'm sitting at my desk and I'm wondering why is there is so much requirement of money with respect to, let's say, my inventory storage, and why is it costing me so much, right? So that is a business problem, that how do I improve the amount of money which I'm spending on inventory, and how do I reduce it? So optimizing inventory is the problem which I have now. This is a business problem. I want to improve that. How do I communicate with respect to data? Now what you need to find out is how do I convert this problem into something which I can analyze? So this step more or less depends on what kind of data you have and what kind of analytics that you want to do. So you look at the different metrics with respect to the inventory. So is it perishable, non-perishable? How much space does it take? How fast it has to be shipped? When does it expire? And different things like that, right? So you can take those things into account and you can frame an analytics problem, right? So now what I want to see is I realize that this problem may be happening because of the fact that I have a lot of perishable goods and less of the non-perishable ones, or maybe I'm not storing the inventory properly, or it is very far from where it has to be distributed and it is not being properly kept across different storage units that I have. So now it comes to analytics problems, so finding out all of these metrics. Okay, I have to look at how many perishable goods I have, how I'm storing them, and all of these things. That these are the things that I need to analyze. Now we have changed our problem to an analytics problem. So what do you need to analyze? Now you know what has to be analyzed, you need to have a lot of data for it. Most of the companies will mostly have the data that they need, and sometimes they collect more data just for the fact that they want more perspective on it. So the next step is collection of data as well as cleaning of data. So cleaning of data is very important. A lot of times some faulty data comes in, and that faulty data also influences the analytics that you are doing. So that is something that you do not want, because you want the accuracy to be spot on. So cleaning of data is a very important step. So in the third step, you do that. Once you have done that, you have a set of data, you know what has to be analyzed. Now you need to decide how are you going to analyze it. So you need to come up with a model. You have to decide what are the statistical formulas that you're going to do, whether it has to be some regression that you have to do, or there is some random forest thing that you have to do. There are a lot of different things that you can do. You can have null hypothesis and different kinds of things which you can apply to your data to find out different results. In this scenario, generally more than one statistical formula, more than one model is used to find out different kinds of results, and you want to see what are the insights that you can get. And many a times you actually do not know what you're looking for, and sometimes you also find out some simple things which generalize was missed, right? So these analytics steps are done so that you can find out some insights which does not meet the eye, and you find something hidden, and due to the small steps in the business analytics, like the modeling process, that you find out that okay, maybe data is telling me this, maybe this here is the problem, and this problem that is something that you not noticed before, like something like the cost is going up because the delivery unit is moving a lot of distance, right? So that is something which does not seem a problem, right? So because Storing is not a problem, delivery is not a problem, but you are spending a lot of money on the fuel to travel it, and that is happening because you are not putting your materials in the optimized location. So there's something which is hidden. You can find out through the analytics. You can see these insights, right? Once you find those insights, then you come up with the solution, right? The next step is finding the solution. So you find out what you can do with those insights and how you can improve, and you deploy those solutions in your deployment section. So you find out the solution and you deploy it in the final step. And there is one more step which goes unnoticed. So after you solve a problem and you deploy the entire process, what you would want to do is basically find out, put in the data that you have learned. So whatever you gain from all of this analytics and whatever what the result was, the result, you store this data for the future analytics that you will be doing. So that is all of the steps of the business analytics. Pretty simple, right? So next one is the business analytics course. I've told you about how business analytics is done and what is business analytics. Now let's talk about where you can do business analytics. Now business analytics can be done in a lot of domains, right? There is endless implementation. It could be in anywhere, any field you can do probably business analytics in today's world. So some very simple examples of where you can do business analytics is every organization has clients, right? So client relationship management is something that you can focus upon while you're doing business analytics. You can have inventory management, which I just mentioned as an example, and that you can do market analysis. You can do customer segmentation. What does customer segmentation mean? Let's say I'm an e-commerce company, right? Or let's say I'm a supermarket. So what I do is, let's take an example. Let's say I'm Big Bazaar. So I'm Big Bazaar. Now what I am doing is I'm trying to launch a new card with for membership. Now I basically want to find out who are those customers who would be more than willing to buy my new membership card, right? So I want to approach those customers more, which are more likely to buy this product rather than spending my time on, let's say, people who are not going to actually buy it. So I would want to face my marketing campaign to those leads which will actually convert, right? So that is one place where you can use customer segmentation and business analytics in one place. So you divide your customers into segments, and this could be based on various different factors like purchasing power or their basic behavior or their age. So their age can divide them into whether or not they will like a chocolate or not. So you can think of those things and basically target those customers only who will actually have a higher chance of converting, right? So that will bring more money to your business. Other than that, there is HR professional mentioned here. So if you go on Kaggle, you can find a very good data set on a challenge given by IBM. So they have basically given a challenge where a company has a lot of employees that leave, right, at some point of time. They are not able to understand what are the factors that actually is affecting this rate of employees leaving. So what they do is they have taken a lot of things into account, like whether or not they are married, whether or not they live close by to the office, what is the commute distance, whether or not they are someone who gets a bonus or has variable pay, whether or not their manager has given some appreciation, they are involved in fun activities. All of those things they have taken into account, and based on that you can find out what are the things which actually affects your employees leaving. So based on that, if you find out, let's say, these are the things because of which your very good employees are leaving, so what you want to do is improve on those things so that those employees don't leave and become loyal, and more number of experienced employees that you have in one working in a company, they have more exposure. It's better and easier for the company to move ahead. So that is another place of application. Other than that, there are so many applications, supply chain optimization, price comparison. There's so many things that you can do with business analytics. So the scopes are endless. So because the scopes are endless, there will be a lot of different industries that you can move into. You could be in banking sector. You could be analyzing customers' data in banking sector to find out if they are more likely to take this kind of health insurance or that kind of health insurance, or which kind of credit card they'll prefer, and different things like that. So it could be banking sector, it could be IT sector, it could be in the supply chain sector, it could be anywhere, right? It could be even to, let's say, a company like Nike. They want to find out what kind of clothes are people actually preferring, and there's this endless domains where you can actually apply business analytics to find out how your business will do, right? So every business which is out there can use. So hence there is a lot of scope for you guys across domains. I'm talking this in terms of jobs. There are a lot of fee domains or sectors that you can go into and apply business analytics there. So that is another thing which is a very lucrative point of business analytics. So let's move on to the next one and talk about the careers prospects. So I've told you that business analytics can be done everywhere, right? And that is a simple reason why there is good career growth as well as job abundance in business analytics. Always good companies will be doing business analytics. Great companies are hiring. Job abundance is due to the very simple fact that almost all organizations require dedicated business analytics team. And for the simple fact that, let's say, most of the companies require software developers, right? But let's say if you are in business analytics, you are not just restricted to one particular sector. Let's say the IT sector. You could be working in, say, a supply chain or health companies. Let's say if you are a company that manufactures pharmacy products, even there you have a scope to find out how many customers will require, let's say, the vaccine of coronavirus. So what should be the price point of this vaccine that you will be providing, and what are the different things that you can do. So you can be in any field of the world and you can do business analytics, and there will always be a job for you. So that is something which is very lucrative about becoming a business analytics guy, that you know the market, that you can have a job in different sectors and domains. You will automatically have a job at all points of time, most probably, because every company which is out there is trying to improve. So analytics team will always be there. So there will probably be always a job for you. So that is something which ensures longevity in with respect to how long your career could be in one domain. So business analytics serves that perspective as well. And the more you grow in, let's say, one particular sector, you understand the market better, you understand the terms better. So naturally you become a greater asset to your company or any other companies in your particular sector, and hence the career growth becomes very high. So that is something which is offered by business analytics as well. In that, which companies are hiring? Almost all of the companies in here, the companies that you see, I've mentioned almost all the companies use it. The companies on the screen are the big companies like IBM, Siemens, Oracle, Apple, Adobe, Google, BBC, anywhere, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere they are using business analytics guys, right? So all the good companies are always hiring for business analysts. And if you go and check out LinkedIn right now, Amazon would definitely be having one opening for business analysts. So that is something which is also very prevalent, that you will have a lot of job openings that you can apply to. Now let's talk about numbers, right? So these are the jobs available in very good companies. So what are the job average salaries? So these numbers are average salaries for the different countries. By no means does this mean that this will be the salary that you'll get. You can get less or more based on the qualification, number of experience, years of experience that you have, different technologies that you know, different companies that you're going for, how many years you have in one particular domain as well. So these are the average numbers which are out there. So if you are in the USA, you are looking at a figure of around $100,000, and in India you are looking at a 9 LPA as the average for any business analytics consultant. Other than that, you have UK £55,000, which is also out there, right? So these are the average numbers, and these numbers can be affected by the skills that you have. So let's quickly discuss the skills which are required to become a business analytics professional. If you are looking to become a business analytics professional, so you will be dealing with a lot of numbers, right? I told you statistical modeling and working with a lot of data. Naturally, you have to be good at mathematics. You have to be very good at mathematics. You have to have that hunch for the numbers. And this is something that you can build, not something that you are born with. You can work your way through it. A lot of people get through it as they work, they get exposed to, because nobody's trained to work with, let's say, 1,000 lines of data or data in a sheet, right? So they learn it. So that is more about the practice and getting more acquainted with the data rather than being actually extremely great at mathematics. So you can basically become someone who is very good at mathematics. Specifically in statistics, you have to be good. The mathematics skills that we mean here is statistical skills in particular. So if you are good with that, that is something which is actually required in all of the companies. And if you interview at a lot of places, the first round that they'll have you is a simple test where they test your computation skills and how fast you can compute and how fast you can interpret data. And that all comes from the mathematical skills. Second is the strong analytical skills. So you are analyzing data. It is pretty obvious that you need to be very good at analytics. It could be the data interpretation, graph interpretation, finding out different solutions to different problems, looking at a simple business problem and turning it into analytical problem, finding those insights. So if you are looking for it, you need to have good analytical skills. And again, if you think you do not have it, it comes with practice. You need to practice and you work on different data sets and you get that zest or get that hunch about data itself. So that is something which comes naturally to a lot of people, but it is something that you can again learn very easily. Next is knowledge of SQL and Excel. Since I mentioned you will be working with a huge amount of data, So mostly these data come in some sheets or some databases. So it is very important that you know SQL and Excel. It is very important. It's like the base. All of the business analytics guys which are out there, they definitely know SQL and Excel by hand. Like there is no issues whatsoever with respect to these. And these are the most basic skills that I'm mentioning out. So you need a lot more to land better jobs, but SQL and Excel, very important. Other than that, you need to have business acumen, right? Somebody who does not know at all about supply chain cannot find those insights which affect supply chains, right? So whichever domain that you're working in, as I told you, business analytics can apply in a lot of different sectors, right? So whichever sector you are in, it's very important to understand how that sector works and what are the different things that influence that sector. If you are someone who is into, let's say, a company that does clothing, let's say a Nike or Ralph Lauren or somebody, then you need to understand how fashion is working and how which kind of clothes people like, which is the price point that people generally go for, what is your actual customer base, what kind of products are you branding, and different things like that. So you need to have business acumen with respect to that so that you can solve those problems. If you do not understand the industry that you're working in, it will be very hard to be a business analytics professional. And again, this is something that you can learn in the industry as well, but you need to have that knack for that. So if you are somebody who likes one particular domain, I'd say go for that one rather than the other one, because it will be much more interesting for you, and the more interested you are in a field, the better the chances are for you to learn that field, right? So that's that. And then another skill that you must require is data visualization. So every business analytics guy which is out there, you are working with data, you are working with statistics, great, you have absolutely outstanding mathematical skills, very good. But how do you explain that to your stakeholders, right? So you go to your CEO, you won't be showing them like, I applied this formula and then I got 1.1 here, 1.2 there, 1.3 there. They wouldn't know what that 1.1, 1.2 or 1.3 means, right? They won't have any idea of that if they are not trained professionals in that field. That's why you are hired. So that is the reason why you need to change it into graphs and different graph and pie charts and different plots, so that they are able to understand what is going on. It becomes much more easier, much more intuitive when you put the things in terms of graphical representation, because it lets people understand very easily. So that is something that you need to understand. And for data visualization, you will be basically needing two tools. One of them is Tableau, or the other one you can go for is Power BI at this point of time. Either one is very good. Both are very much in demand in the market. If you go across any job domains, SQL, Excel, and something like a Tableau or Power BI is something which is expected of you. So data visualization skills, very important. Next one is the communication skills. Since you are somebody who is in analytics, it's a more of a techno-functional role in my opinion. So what I mean by techno-functional is you will be doing a lot of technical things, like you are doing statistical modeling and whatnot, right? So you're doing a lot of technical side of things as well as you're doing your business side of things as well. So you need to communicate with both the technical team and the functional team and the customers and the stakeholders. So it's a lot of interaction which is required, and it is very important that you be precise with what you are speaking with. Hence it is very important to have great communication skills so that you can explain to people what is going on and explain your ideas and explain what the data is telling, and everything that you have comes down to communication skills. And communication skills is something which is important with respect to any job that you have, in my opinion, because you need to talk to a lot of people when you're working in an organization, and putting your points across clearly and precisely is something which goes a long way. Other than these 6 skills that I mentioned right now, 2-3 skills which impact a lot is R programming and Python programming. So there's a lot of different companies which prefer that you know R and Python, for the simple fact that these are the things which are used for statistical modeling and data science purposes. So these 2 skills they are looking at, but not every organization will look for that. But it is a very great plus to have those in the back, because that puts your skills up, right? It puts you above the competition, because if the organization is expecting you to write R code or write Python code, then you already have that in the bag. That is something that you should pay attention to once you have all of these skills in the bag. Once you have all of these skills, then you should move on to Python, R, or SAS, or anything else like that. So these are the skills which are required to become a business analytics professional. Now, to show you that I wasn't bluffing, there's a job description from Amazon. So you can see what you require here is something related to research and math or related discipline. So basic qualification, you'd require something in math, statistics, or engineering, something like that. So having a statistical background helps. Second thing that they require is, this is for a more experienced professional, that's why experience as an analyst is preferred. So that is something which is there. Then a proficiency in Microsoft based Office. So basically they want you to present graphs in the PPTs and the Excel, that you must know. So these are the two skills which you are looking in there. Other than that, you will need SQL knowledge and hands-on experience is a must, right? So SQL is something which is a must for this job role. Should demonstrate analytical abilities, should be result oriented. So that is something which we explained, right? Analytical skills is very important since you are going to become an analytics guy. Excellent verbal and communication and presentation skills, so that comes from data visualization, and the communication skills that we discussed, so that is something which is there. And ability to work in fast change environment, that is fine. And these are the basic qualifications. So these are the things that you actually require to apply for the job. And it's better if you have experience in the e-commerce or retail domain. That basically means if you have the business acumen. So if you have that, that is another preferred qualification for you. The second one is understanding data warehousing, data modeling concepts, and building DW tables. So this is with respect to database management. So if you have something like that, that is something which helps. And the last thing is advanced SQL skill, fluent in R or Python, advanced Microsoft Office skills, particularly Excel. As you can see, these are the skills that I just mentioned. So these are the basic things that you need in order to land these jobs, right? So R and Python comes in the preferred section naturally, because this is something which having these will help you learn things faster and implement things faster. So this is something that you must have if you're looking for a job as a business analytics professional. So with that, we have come to the understanding section. Now let's talk about further learning. So we at Intellipaat, we understand that an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. That's why we provide a lot of free content. So the one you are watching right now is a part of it, so that we spread the word out there so that everybody understands what is going on in the industry, what are the technologies which are trending. That's why we put out a lot of free content in the form of blogs as well as video tutorials. So if you are an avid reader, go check out our blogs. Other than that, we have YouTube tutorials where we have long tutorials on R, Python, SQL, and everything you can see and find out and learn from there as well. And we have community where you can get your questions answered as well. But if you are somebody who needs more attention and wants more business-based projects or different projects that you know to enhance your resume, or you want to have a certification in your hand and you want to be somebody who is able to ask questions and learn in that kind of environment where you have instructor-led training, where instructor can guide you along the process and learn better, then I would recommend you to reach out to our website and check out the different courses that we offer. So we also provide online training. You can check them out there as well. Also guys, now on people who are watching on YouTube, we will be ending our YouTube session very soon, and we'll be moving on to our Q&A section, which is conducted exclusively on our webinar. So we are having a parallel webinar right now, and there we'll be taking all of your doubts one-on-one, and we'll be answering questions based on your resume as well as questions with respect to this particular field. So we have an industry professional who is waiting in there, who is our senior course advisor, and he'll be guiding us through all of the questions that you might have, and he'll be clearing doubts one-on-one. So if you're interested, you can head on down to the webinar. So post this session on YouTube, we'll be moving on to webinar. If you're not, so if you have any questions with respect to this session or any other sessions that we have had, you can comment it down below, or you can reach out to the numbers on the screen. And it was fun interacting with you, all of you today. And with that, I've come to the end of this session on YouTube. So people who are interested, I request the person handling chat to put down the webinar link so that everybody can move there and ask their doubts there. So with that, I'll be concluding the YouTube session, and let's begin with the Q&A section on webinar now. Thank you so much for watching.